LG, and welcome to another episode of LGHL Access. I'm your host, Brisan66, back again from the dead, wherever I came from and went to. We've got a new panel with me for this episode. We're not going to keep episodes. Screw that. There's too many. I tried looking through the videos. There's got to be at least 10 or 15. So without further ado, let's introduce the panel. First up, we got a man that always hangs around with me. I don't know why. Well, I don't know why I hang around with him, but it's Garris. Garris, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Not too shabby, not too shabby. Next up, we've got probably the, I would say the comedian of the panel. We've got, well, there's a lot of jokers on this panel, but probably the comedian to me is my boy Rebel. Rebel, how you doing?
Howdy, fellas. I got you.
Are we live from your bed? Is it about to get sexy down in Texas?
Well, my sister had to work tonight, so I think we're safe on that.
Oh God! Stop. Okay, so we're gonna avoid that whole topic and just move on to the last and definitely least. Dunks, how you doing, Dunks?
I'm pretty good. I'm a little bit offended right now, but after shitting the entire bed this week, I don't think I have much room to talk. So
yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't think this is a week this is a show we really didn't want to do after that pitiful week. But let's talk about you, Garris. How was your week?
I didn't win a game, so I mean, not. But it went well. I like playing with my line mates. Just tough breaks, but yeah, didn't win a game. But oh well. On next week.
It's a whole panel of losers. That's just the way I like it. We can all relate to something. So, we've got a good show ahead for you here. We are going to start off with Lines of the Week, and then we're going to roll into Rebels Corner, which any of our longtime followers will remember that segment. And last up, we'll finish up with the top 10 power rankings. So next up, we've got Lines of the Week. Stick around. Now I see clearly. Welcome back. We are here for our first segment of LGHL Access, and we are going to start off with the Lines of the Week. Dunks and Garris are going to take this one away. Garris is going to start off with the East. What do we got, Garris?
All right, so just give a disclaimer. These are as of before the games tonight, so if I leave anyone out, I'm sorry. But starting off, we have the right wing from Toronto Maple Leafs. We have Dookie. He went 3-0 in a week, 14 points, a +9. At center, we have Keeps from Ottawa. He went 3-0, 11 points, +7 on the week. And moving on, we have the owner of the Ottawa Senators, Sty, 27, 3-0, 11 points, +7 on the week. I'm not sure if he played with Keeps, but it kind of looks like it. And then moving on, left defenseman from the New Jersey Devils, we have Red Mile _89. As people know him, Sakatani. 3-0 on the week, 7 points, 3 goals as a defenseman, and a +10. And then after that, we have right D from the Toronto Maple Leafs. We have Mr. Ped. Only 3 assists on the week, but he was a +10. And finally, rounding out, we have a goalie from the Pittsburgh Penguins. We have Stewie, 420-83, 5-0 on the week, 1.6 goals against, 81.8 save percentage. So, I mean, mostly everyone's playing together on this line. So, I mean, knowing some key consistent the week.
Yeah, I mean, those guys probably made the Lines of the Week because they played Dunk's line, so there's a good chance in that.
Did they?
I don't put it past you.
I don't know. Did they?
I don't think so. I think we lost to an even worse line. So.
Oh yeah, you could be right. So great. I like your motivation. Dunks, let's hear what we've got in the West.
All right, so to start out with the West, we got my buddy Matty Cups. Matt had 12 points this week, 5 goals, 7 assists, +6, 26 shots, and 27 hits. So for every shot, he's hitting somebody. He's a really good forechecker. I know that from playing with him in the past. At center, we got J. Rule's Summer Cups, the legendary scumbag himself. 3-0, 9 points, 4 goals, 5 assists, +4. He did pretty well. We have another one of his teammates on lefty. We have Vargy, who had 6 points with 6 assists and a +2, 3-0. I want to go back to the forwards. I did not pull up. Okay. Well, we'll go back to Chicago. Another one of their defensemen, native the BK. 3 points, 2 goals and assists, +6. As well. And Big Bean, pardon me, 5-0 this week. 82.9 save percentage and a very good 1.4 goals against average. I'm missing one person. You stand by for just a second. Trying to get my computer to cooperate.
I'm sitting, but I will sit by.
Oh, Schlemko, X17, from Anaheim, and he went only, in my opinion, for Anaheim team. He went 3-0 this week with 10 points, 5 goals, 5 assists, and a +6.
All right. That's the West. Fi, any comments on these two lines?
There's a chance you might see one of those guys show up in my Rebels Corner segment.
A little foreshadowing. I like it. Noodle Dunks, anything to say? Or Noodle. I am so used to that tag. Garrus Dunks,
Oh,
It's
anything?
an awful tag, by the way.
It is
Let
an
me just-
awful tag, but for some
worse.
reason I look at Garrus and I see a Noodle, so, what can I say?
Get your shit pushed
Well, I
in.
mean, well,
No, let's not talk
you
about
know-
your tags, because it's a really bad habit you all have, changing tags all the
Yeah.
time.
I was about to say, you can see some of these East guys, they could probably beat up on Dunks and Potatoes line. So, I mean, it's easy points for them.
Probably. Potato's probably the best player on that line, too, so Dunks
Dude.
really has a lot of learning to do.
Guy was number 3 in the league after his 3 games and giveaways. I'm sorry, with a whopping 1 goal.
Don't worry, I'm number 2.
He's sick,
I'm number
bro.
2.
Listen, it's about 2 months after Christmas. Bobby's feeling the Christmas spirit again, so he needs to give away as much as he can. So,
God damn it! I hope he watches this.
he will. He lives for it. He's going to say, there's my beautiful boy Bryson, and he's going to have to watch.
Yeah, Bryson Day, Christ.
So, yeah. So, anything to say about the opposite lines that you guys didn't get to speak on, Dunks or Garrus?
I played Maddie and Native this week, and they took us into overtime. It was a good game. Maddie always stands out, and Native held his own against our left wing. So, I mean, Chicago is going to be underrated for the season.
I do like the team that JBT set up for himself. Pretty good team. Interesting to see how they do throughout the season. I wonder if they faced good lines this week, to be honest.
Well,
I mean,
it's surprising that someone who acts like an idiot like JBT constantly in the chat box puts together a team like that. But he is a friend of mine, and Maddie, even though he has gone off the deep end lately, falling in love with Tinder girls and shit like that, he did have a phenomenal week. So shout out to you, buddy. And then Big Being, I play a little bit of goalie, and the last patch was really, really terrible. And to put up the numbers that he put up is nothing short of impressive.
I've heard nothing but negative things about this patch, and people do not like it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that does it for Lines of the Week. Next up, we're going to roll into the Rebels Corner, where we're going to get to hear our favorite Southerner tell us about his top players for the week. So stick around. Don't want to miss that. Welcome back. We are here for a segment that's it's going to be interesting nonetheless. It is Rebels Corner, as we are live from an aerial view of Fi in his bed. So take it away, Fi.
Oh, hello there. Welcome back for another edition of Rebels Corner. First off this week, we have a little bit of a journeyman, but nonetheless, the French phenom, also known as Schlemko X17, also known as McLean, aka whatever the hell his next gamer tag is gonna be. The kid, as aforementioned by our lovely Dunks here, went 3-0 with 10 points, including 5 goals and 5 assists, a +6, and no penalty minutes. He managed to beat teams like the Edmonton Oilers, the Arizona Coyotes. That's not funny, because wins are serious. Moving on, we with iTransitions, also known as Tranny. He goes 3-0 with 12 points, 7 assists, and a +11, beating teams like the Buffalo Sabres and Savvy, too Savvy, and the Ottawa Senators, also the team who just beat me. That's going to wrap up our Rebels Corner for the week. Back to you.
All right, fantastic. I feel like Dunks lost his virginity and I was taken advantage of. So we're gonna
Holy fucking!
So we're gonna move on to the next segment. There, thank you, Fi, as you're seductively looking at me. Next up, we've got the top 10 power rankings.
I told you my sister wasn't here.
You may want to stick around. You may not. You may not after that. So next up is the top 10 power rankings. Welcome back, as we are here to finish out LGHL Access after what was an impressive segment we had just a couple minutes ago. But next up, we are going to do the top 10 power rankings as we're doing it a little bit differently. In the past, we've done it where it was top 10 teams of that week. We're just going to do it as a top 10, and we're going to update it as the season goes. So it'll be like a seasonal top 10. So without further ado, we're going to start off here. I'm going to run through it, and each team we're going to break down and discuss a little bit about. Number 10 in our top 10 power rankings is the Chicago Blackhawks. Went 5-3 this week. Look, guys, I said it earlier on the show. JBT built himself a pretty decent team. Like Dunk said, not a guy that normally people take too seriously, but he's doing a good job as owner. The league needed owners, and so far he's been doing a good job. What are your thoughts on JBT thus far as an owner, Dunks?
JBT is a friend of mine, I'd say. He's done an admirable job. Mind you, five wins isn't a phenomenal record, but at the end of the day, he is playing well. It's his team's first time together, playing together, most of them. I know Matt himself said that he didn't know anyone on the team at all. I think with having Watman, maybe he could try to swing something, getting Chivs in the AHL and have the two buddies playing together. But as far as I can tell, he's doing an admirable job, especially first week, and we still don't know the outcome of his last game tonight. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty decent names, and honestly, the one that really surprised me the most through bidding that he got was Youngin. I mean, Youngin's a decent player, but $2.5 million is quite impressive based on his previous bidding experiences. So, good for him, and he's also got Matty Cups, who had a solid week, and just a good group of names that I would say that will win him some games. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that it's a cup favorite team, but it's definitely a team that's going to win more games than other teams, and I definitely would say run the top part of the middle of the pack for sure. Next up at number 9, we've got another surprising team here, maybe a team that's been playing against lower lines all week, but nonetheless, they're there. The Anaheim Ducks, who went 5-3 on the week. I don't know what to say. I mean, this team's got some lower end guys. Schlemko normally does fairly well for himself, but outside of that, it kind of falls off as far as I'm concerned. Garrus, let's get a little insight on the Ducks.
Chris, after what happened beginning of the season, getting trade raped and scumbagged by Sty. Sorry, but that did happen. Picking up and having Skid and is it Heat Fan or Copes is playing with him, Josh?
I think it's Heat Fan.
I think whatever one is, Skid the Newt King himself. Chip it in. You never see a team like this. It's only week 1, but for a team like Anaheim that's been in cellar for the past 2 seasons, it's kind of refreshing to see actually have some type of success for the league to grow. Have an owner that is down in the dumpster and actually do something for himself for once. So I mean, it's good to see progression of the owner and have a little success, even though it's like one good week.
Yeah, it's early, but we'll see if after a week of success for Anaheim here, maybe they'll start seeing some tougher games. I did see they got destroyed in some of their games that they lost, but we'll see how the season goes. Next up here at number 8, we've got the San Jose Sharks. They put in a 5-3-1 week. Dugan, the owner, with Aces and Scary Joey. Another pretty good team. I would say this team, as far as on paper, would match up with the same skill-wise as Chicago. Fi, what do you think about the Sharks?
Well, they were maybe a little bit of a surprise team from last season. I think he took that momentum that they had from the end of last year and rolled it through bidding. It's a pretty decent roster, and I think we kind of expect this team to be in the middle, average, just above the pack. Potentially a playoff team. So a 5-3 week, is kind of expected from a team like this. They certainly didn't get third lines thrown at them. So it's always good to get, at least 5 wins in a week where you're playing. So, seeing that out of them, rolling out of the gate as we expect them to, that's got to be reassuring that they didn't have a flop come bidding.
Right. Yeah, you kind of took the words out of my mouth that San Jose had a pretty surprising season last season, and I think they took a lot of the good and tried to change some little loose ends up and hopefully have a repeat and do even better this season. So it's early, but again, another solid start here for the Sharks. Next up, number 7, we've got Calgary with the owner as I lost my train of thought. Goulash. I believe one of their games is missing, but they have a 5-2-1 week, leading the West Pacific at the moment. Actually, leading the West Pacific, 3rd in the Western Conference. Goulash taking some chances on some quite a few personalities, but so far a good job. Besides the no surprise, Hopkins and Roberts went 0-3. They're sick, right? But the rest of the team has done their job. So, what do you think the plans are for Goulash moving forward here? Especially when you got a guy like Buddy Robb at almost $8 million that goes 0-3. Dunks.
Well, after playing a fantastic, wonderful, sensational season with T-Hops and Buddy frickin' Rob in the past, I have to say that if Calgary is going to be successful, they really got to turn around those two guys. One thing I will say is that Buddy Rob's style doesn't really work with this game. I think poke checks are a little too overpowered. Not overpowered, but they do work. He had a habit in the past of just kind of skating at guys and doing quick wraps and things like that. But I think the fact that defense is easier to play. It's honestly it's more balanced. The offense versus the defense, I think. Even though we saw some high scoring games, I don't think Rob's style will benefit him well. I think he needs to adjust for sure. But they have my friend Gren. I played with him in Pro Series last season. He's a very underrated player. And I think he'll continue to do well and prosper on that team, and I hope he does.
Yeah, and just think if Robertson, that line didn't go 2-1 and actually put it in a better week, this team would be probably contending for first place in the West right now. So just it's a bad week, I guess, for those guys, and perhaps they'll turn it around and this team will even be maybe firing on all pistons eventually. Next up, at number 6, we've got the Pittsburgh Penguins, the runner-up last season. Brando's back again, and I thought he built a decent team through bidding. He had a lot of good players on cheap contracts, which always helps, especially going into this bidding. But getting Shocks and Tomo at fairly decent prices, considering what other people went for, I think Pittsburgh's definitely got a team that can make a fairly solid run. A very good week for them, as well as they're sitting second in the Metro behind Columbus. Give us your thoughts on Brando Vito and the Penguins, guys. Whoever wants to take this one.
I'm surprised you didn't mention. I mean, go back to Calgary. I'm surprised you didn't mention the brand there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'll feel insulted about it, but Brando.
Well, no, I mentioned about all the personalities, so yeah, I did mention them indirectly.
Yeah, it would probably take a whole other show to go into detail about them, but usually about Pittsburgh, Brando is always a consistent owner. I mean, I didn't think that he was considered. I'd compare him to more so like KB Smith type. Like, I don't think people really consider him like an elite on the skills. I'm not saying that he's bad or anything, but I'm just saying that he's not considered, like the top of the top, but he's always built great teams to surround himself and carry himself. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh makes a run this season based on his prior track record and some of the bids that he got through bidding, and especially this bidding pool.
Right. Couple comments on Brando, Dunks or Fi?
He's one of the owners. He's always going to have a consistently built team that will win. It's just a matter of time, till we find out, is this team going to be a contender like they usually are, or are they just going to be an average team that's going to do well? Yeah.
Dunks?
I just wanted to. I have to agree with you guys. Brando built a good team last season. I think losing Shoko is a bit of a blow, to be honest. Shoko is a very good player and a friend of mine, so that's got to be shitty. But other than that, he picked up some good guys in bidding. Murph 416, Marijuana Murph was his old tag. He's a really good lefty. I used to play with him back in older NHLs, and he's got NKGHD, Nicky Leaks himself, the legend. I heard he has some insider info on Triz, and he may be the person behind the LG Leaks account. It's been
the alt-right leader.
Yeah, the alt-right.
He brings the fire, that's for sure.
Yeah, quite a guy.
All right, moving on here to number 5. A big surprise here. Team sitting above Pittsburgh in the Metro is the Columbus Blue Jackets, with Potsy running the team. Good old Potsy. Let's all just be completely frank here. I looked at Columbus and I thought, Potsy, you fucking moron. Hellcat 7.5. All to it 9 million. Like, holy shit, is that hideous? But
didn't he not have a GM?
I think I don't know. I don't think so. I think AGM.
That's kind of weird.
I think he was missing the AGM. But hey, Potsy can say fuck you, Bryson. I'm 7-2, and you're shit in the bed. So good week for Potsy. Good week for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
They shit on us.
Yeah.
My line.
Yeah. Well, you're a line. So I mean, yeah. You're pretty bad. Bobby Votto wasn't though.
Oh my god.
Any comments on Columbus here, guys? Anybody?
We always take a look at Potsy's teams. Sometime during the season, they just go on a run, and I don't know if this is just folks looking at the roster and saying, "Oh, here's a game, there's a winnable game," and not throwing out their best line against these guys, or is this going to be something we can continue to watch? Potsy's been around for a little while. Like I said, we always touch on his teams, but they're never consistent. Is this going to be the year that they're going to be consistent for him? He puts a lot of money on Hellcat, and Hellcat always seems to get paid, especially in thin bidding sessions. But, are these guys going to be enough to kind of put his team over the hump that he's been trying. He's been chasing it for a few seasons now. Those guys do well.
Yeah, it's only just a matter of time to see how Potsy does throughout the season. But right now, he's in a good spot and probably pretty satisfied with how his team's played thus far. Next up, number 4, we've got a team I'd hate to mention, but I've got to do it. Man, the Ottawa Senators, they are 6-2 this week. I believe they have a game missing there to submit. This team's great. This team is really good. A lot of very good players on very cheap contracts based on how this bidding went. We played them tonight, our one line with GB, and they played against Wall Rocket and Bossy, and I think Dirt Racer was the forward line. And honestly, I thought, we didn't pull Greg or anything, but Greg had to play that game due to him not making the first game yesterday. So we thought, this could be okay. But now I'll tell you what, they put a pounding on us pretty bad. I think it was like 7-1. So, where I thought Ottawa had depth with Grimm and Keeps and Jemima, man, that line definitely gave us a shellac. And so Ottawa's a team with depth, and I think Sty is hoping to see this team do a little bit more than what they did last season in the playoffs.
Without a doubt. Fortunately, Bossy was my AGM last season, and he's a phenomenal player. I actually played on his line, and the guy can literally, go into the zone, do what he needs to do, and walk out with a goal. Really good player. 3.5. I mean, especially in this bidding pool, isn't bad, but I mean, they got to do what they got to do in Ottawa, and I think they're going to make a run.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up here at number 3, got a team that doesn't really surprise anyone to be here at number 3. Big J, sorry, with the New Jersey Devils.
So childish.
Yeah, man, my bad. I slipped up there. I'll tell you, Jersey's got an awesome team, a really great team. Not only is the management team talented, but they also picked up some good players in bidding, not to mention Frank's I'll quit if you pick me up campaign slogan that got him a $250,000 contract, which is pretty good for him. Pretty good defense. I think, they definitely had to spend money on Lundqvist, but outside of that, and Lundqvist is worth it. But I think he's got a lot of good defensemen that are on pretty decent contracts. Seth Happ's going for $4 million seems pretty reasonable, and Tim at $250 is pretty good. And honestly, the biggest one was Stamkos at $1 million $250. The guy probably went. I've seen so many other goalies
$4
go
million.
so much more. Yeah, but I mean, I've seen goalies go more than that before, and somebody like Stamkos that has a good history of success is that's a great pickup for New Jersey. So. It is.
I just gotta say, I can't believe you didn't shout out the man, the myth, the legend, Eddie Remix, Mr. Hollywood himself. Makes his way over to New Jersey from LA last season. He's been with Dave for like the past 5 seasons, and has always come. And he's holding his own in New Jersey still. So.
Yeah.
About to say,
anybody else on New Jersey?
I was going to say you're going to make the list if you didn't mention Frank.
I have to mention Frank. Frank is an important member of this community. We all appreciate him. I love Frank.
Mirror on the wall. Who's the hardest one of them all?
Hardest one of them all, yeah. Frank's got a lot of legendary quotes that we could be here all night talking about. So let's move on to number 2. Ironically, number 2 team I thought was going to be the symbolism of number 2, which is shit, but Blowmaster Joe and the boys actually have a pretty good team and doing some solid work here early in the season, leading the West with a 7-1-1 record, which is impressive. With the bold move of Hypnotic at $9 million $250, Flowmaster Joe is liking where his boys are at, starting off very solid. They've got a great defensive unit, which honestly made me question the bid on Hypnotic when you have all 3 management on defense and 3 good defensemen on management, particularly Boney. I think they've got a good forward group. Maybe not guys that would be phenomenal, but guys that'll get the job done. I feel. I don't think they're as favored as Jersey to go all the way, but obviously they're different conferences. But I still think Winnipeg had a very good week, and I don't know. This is just me, but I think moving Hypnotic's contract's the only way this team can spring to a cup favorite if they get get a little bit more talent there at forward. 5 or Dunks.
Well, I just wanted to chime in and say I think the difference is they Boney opened his home to the team and had a couple barbecue bonanzas, and the camaraderie around the team is second to none. I mean, it's uncomparable.
Boney's one hell of a guy, throwing all those barbecue bonanzas. It's amazing.
It really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't forget about his bowling.
To be quite honest, that's why Fi doesn't want to talk about him. He was never invited.
It's too far of a drive, and my sister wouldn't let me go. Talking about Winnipeg, Joe inherited the Cup champs, and he ran with it. He brought in a good management team, and Smirky always built his teams offense backwards. It always seemed like, and Joe's done the opposite of that, where he's brought in tons of defensive talent and hoping that's going to keep low-scoring games. And right out of the gate, it's working for him. So I don't expect that to change. Joe seems to know what he's doing. He's got a well-built roster. So not surprising to see them up top here.
Yeah. I will say he does have a good knowledge for the league, so there is no surprise in that. Speaking of knowledge for the league, as we're coming up here to number 1, this team, I laughed at again as well, but a pretty good week here for getting number 1 in our top 10, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Psychic Taco, man, I'll tell you, when he got ownership, I was, as far as owner goalies, everyone always kind of like, it's kind of a wasted contract. But in a sense, Taco, there's a guy that knows the community inside and out. It is definitely Taco. I question.
Taco loves his shell.
He does love his shell. I also question his GM selection, but nonetheless, he made do with what he was given and built a pretty decent team. I wouldn't say any top forward line, but I would definitely say he's got a lot of depth, like a lot of second line guys. So definitely a lot of talent there on the forward end, and on defense, he has Spezza. How can you not win a cup with Spezza on defense?
Pat Elite.
Yeah. Right. So, all right. Well, Dunk seems like you'd like to talk about Spezza, so let's hear it.
No, I don't.
Come on, Spezza's a nice guy. All he needs is the.
I'll talk about my friend Selch instead, who had a very bad week for Toronto. Went 1-1-1 with 0 points and a -4. But Selch is my friend, so I hope he turns it around. But I will not be speaking about Spezza. Thank you.
Yeah, I think if there's a guy I'm going to give a shout out to is my buddy Nicky Fats there, crazy kid. He was just being a nice guy and giving, my Red Wings a win. I really appreciate it tonight, Nicky. Thank you, man. But
God, we were ass this week.
No kidding.
To make you feel better, Dunks, I did pull a power move on Spezza. You might see that in the top 10 this week.
Oh, that's hot.
I don't think that happened. Not with Spezza. Probably.
No, there's no way. Spezza is a great defender. He wears skater clothes because he's a skater.
Okay. So any comments, guys, on top 10? Anybody that was left out that you guys want to throw any honorable mentions in? That's not our team, because our team doesn't even deserve to be in the NHL. So
once your AHLers, just ECU everybody. Jesus Christ, this game.
Just forfeit to us, because we still won't even make playoffs if we get a forfeit win the rest of the season.
It all went wrong when you waved thank the God.
Don't even, no, that's not even true at all. Nobody will believe
Dan
you.
Hutton, too. 2 notable names.
Dan Hutton is sick.
Townsend.
Dan Hutton is sick, and he's going to dominate the AHL. That's my final words on that.
No. Nope. You.
Oh, all right. So any other honorable mentions, guys?
One team we left out is Florida. I'd say they deserve a nomination. They went 6-3. They have my good buddy Shoehead, the alcoholic himself, but nonetheless, a legend in the making.
It's a bold move picking up someone that needs to be in AA. You never know when he's going to have to be admitted.
I don't know, man. They have, this is the Frog team, and certainly is really, really froggy.
We got
I joined their party the other night
victimized.
before our game, and I shit you not, I was just trying to figure out what club we were playing on, and not a single person, except for Stiff, spoke a lick of English.
And Stiff even struggles at that much, too.
I was like, Stiff, what club? All of Fame. Okay. Got it. I'm leaving now. Thanks.
I think
but nonetheless, they had a good week, going 6-3, so or 6-2. Sorry.
I'm gonna jump in here, and as I'm looking over things, man, I think a team that really got left out was St. Louis, man. I mean, they had a good week, and not only do they have a good week, but I think they have a really good team. Minus that idiot Bobby. Taze sucks, especially at Rainbow Six, but we'll get into another conversation with that. I just love triggering the good old boy. But St. Louis, man, got a great team. They got Bass on a terrific contract. Cakes, pretty decent center to have. J Rule is a good center as well. I really like this team for their depth.
The only thing, though, you can't win a cup with Steeler 96 on your team, so I don't like their chances.
You know what? I stand corrected. Rebel, any other teams that you feel that I don't know what else to say? I whammied, I suppose. Rebel, any honorable mentions?
No, Florida and St. Louis are certainly teams to keep your eye out for. I think we were just more so surprised by a couple of other teams who had pretty good weeks. So those guys, they're in the rear view. Not even the rear view. They're driving the bus. But we'll keep an eye out for them in the future, I'm sure.
Right. And to close this out, in good news, Eek Lou is not in the playoff picture after week 1, so that's great. What do you think of that, Dunks?
Well, I'll be honest. Sweet Lou is a scumbag, and he's it's coming back, it's reared around, and it's biting him in the ass. He's finally getting what he deserves, and I couldn't be happier.
I'm going to be honest. I've yet to find out what Lou has done wrong, but I will get to the bottom of it. Besides making Batman his GM, that is a horrible decision. But
I got to say, though, I feel bad for guys like, TVK. He's a nice guy. Played Pro Series with him last Pro Series. And don't even Mata, Ben. You have to be friends with him IRL, but I guess his dad's paying you a large sum to continue to hang out with him. So
maybe he's got a hot sister.
Maybe he's got a hot sister like Fi that's willing to share, Fi's Mexican word of his lifetime is wheelchair. If you say, "Wow, your sister's hot," and Fi says, "It's okay, wheelchair."
I'm surprised you're gonna get a banned lifetime for that, Bryson. After that joke.
Whatever. Ban me. Ban me, daddy. What can I say? So, all right, we're gonna wrap up the show here, guys. Thanks for joining me. It was
on that note, really.
Yeah, we're gonna end it on the Mexican joke of the year. Of the life.
Oh my God.
Why? What else would you like to add?
Nothing really. I just don't want to end it.
It looks like you're ready for bed, so we'll call it a night. We'd like to thank you all for watching, and Fi, Garris, Dunks, thank you all for joining me. It was fun. It was fun getting back into the mix of things and getting to talk about the league a little bit here. So next week, if anybody wants to be on the show, wants to be a guest, more than welcome to do some interviews. It'd be interesting.
I'd prefer Potato or Buddy Roberts as our guest next week.
Wow, I'd like to say yes, but I don't think don't have the time for it. Sorry.
You're off the panel, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Maybe we can convince Golski and his cat collection to come on for a minute.
Okay, we can talk to Golski if he has enough medicine. So we'll see.
Medicine. Oh God. I don't think there's enough in the world.
So, all right, we're closing that out. Thank you all for watching. Congrats to all the teams that had a very nice week. Better luck next week to the shitters like Detroit that had a terrible week, and we'll see you all next week.